And in today's video, I'm going to share with you some ways that I use color to make myself feel at home in my Chicago apartment, New York City apartment, and my LA apartment. I'm really excited to be partnering with Skillshare for this video. Skillshare is an online learning community that has over 23,000 classes on just about any topic you can think of, even decorating a home. Now, color plays a big part in interior design, but when you're a renter and you can't paint the walls, you have to get a bit creative with how you incorporate color. In my Chicago apartment where I lived before I moved to New York, I used bright coral curtains and chairs to breathe some life and energy into the living room. The chairs were actually a curbside find that I reupholstered with a fabric slightly darker than the curtains. I don't have any pictures of the project, but I did take some pictures of Leah enjoying the chair. The living room also had built-in shelves, and here I used dark brown fabric panels to create a more dramatic, eye-catching display. You could easily do the same thing to a regular bookcase and use temporary wallpaper instead of fabric for a quick update. In the dining room, I felt like the natural wood grain in my table and large armoire were enough to add some warmth. The armoire was actually hiding my workshop. It looks like I was already prepping for Engineer Your Space even before making the move to New York. With that move, I ended up downsizing into a small studio apartment. And I wanted the space to feel calm and relaxing to counter all the craziness of New York City. Instead of bright colors, here I played with lighting and variations in pattern and texture to make things more visually interesting. The floating wall panels were a simple project that I made to help define the dining room area. Even though the colors I chose were very neutral, the metallic pattern in the wallpaper combined with the lighting element made the panels come to life and create a beautiful focal point. I also had some fun with removable stripes on my front door. Because my door was metallic, I used magnetic sheathing to make the brown stripes, but decals would work on any door. They come in a lot of colors, and they're easy to remove when you get tired of them or when you move out. I really felt at home in this apartment, and so did Leah. But after living there for 3 years, I was ready for a change. So I traded skyscrapers for palm trees and landed in LA in yet another white rental apartment. The kitchen was one of the first rooms that I tackled. I brought in color with a temporary backsplash that I made with this beautiful fabric that I stapled to plywood and then protected with tempered glass. I loved the way it looked, and it instantly upgraded my kitchen. Then once I did that, I realized that the kitchen was missing something, like an accent wall. Since I wanted to avoid having to paint the wall back to white before moving out, I experimented with removable paintable wallpaper that I painted in a blue that matched the backsplash. It worked really well, but I could have avoided painting altogether by using colored temporary wallpaper. At the time I did this, though, I hadn't found any that was the right color. Maybe next time. In the dining room, I created a focal point with wall panels covered with a beautiful metallic grass cloth. Even though the colors are very neutral, the texture and shiny finish of the grass cloth really make this a big statement piece. The furniture brought in some of the blue from the kitchen. This was an easy project that just involved painting inexpensive IKEA furniture and upholstering the chairs in a fun blue striped fabric. For the bedroom, I used the pillow as my color inspiration. I upholstered the headboard with natural burlap to pick up on the neutral colors in the pillow, and then I chose nightstands that coordinated with the turquoise color. Using an inspiration piece is always something that I found helpful to pick colors, and there's lots more examples of that in the interior design class that I checked out on Skillshare. The class also goes into a lot more detail on all the color types, on how to use the color wheel, and how to put it all together in a room. It has a lot of good information, and if you're one of the first 150 people to sign up through the link that I have in the video description below, you'll get 2 months of the premium membership for free, and that's usually a value of over $10 a month. The premium membership will give you access to this interior design class and over 23,000 classes. So I know you'll find something that you'll enjoy and learn a lot about. Now, another place where I played with color in my LA apartment is my living room. When I first moved in, I accented the wall with this large panel that I made with a rug. It had a pretty golden yellow pattern, so I used that as my accent color. I liked it at first, but after a few years, I got tired of the red. So when I got the idea of making a fireplace, I opted to go back to a neutral color palette and play with different finishes and textures like fur to make the room feel cozy. I realized after making this change that I prefer this type of color palette, and I think Leah agrees with me too. My balcony also has had two different looks since I've lived here. Since I couldn't paint the walls, the first thing I did was cover them up with reed fencing panels. It gave the balcony a tropical vibe, which is what I was going for. I was happy with the way it turned out, but this year I decided I needed a change because I like change. So I removed the reed fencing, and because paint still wasn't an option, this time I used artificial boxwood panels to bring in an organic, natural element. This is a great example of how texture and different materials can be used instead of paint to completely transform a room. I hope this inspires you to take a look at your space differently and to see that there are things that you can do to bring in color and personality and to make yourself at home, even if you're renting and you can't paint the walls. You can see all the projects that I did in these playlists. Subscribing to my channel will make sure that you don't miss any of my new content. Plus, if you want to keep up with what I'm up to day to day, follow me on Instagram. Thanks for watching and see you next time.